The day I discovered the truth about my grandmother, I felt like the ground opened beneath me, and my marriage was never the same again. I know that sounds dramatic, but listen, when you trust someone with the most fragile part of your life, the last thing you expect is for them to be the one to break it. And in my case, it wasn't a stranger. It wasn't even a distant relative. It was my grandmother, the woman who raised me, the woman I thought would protect me from the world. But instead, she became the reason my world shattered. I grew up believing my grandmother, Ruth, was the strongest woman alive. My mother died young, and my father drifted away, so Grandma was everything to me, my parent, my friend, my guide. She had this way of making me feel safe. Every heartbreak I had as a teenager, every fight with friends, every failure at school, she was the one who held me close and said, "Don't worry, sweetheart. Grandma's got you." So when I fell in love with Daniel, the man who would later become my husband, she was the first person I ran to. "Oh, honey," she said, her eyes twinkling, "he's a keeper. Don't let him go." I believed her. I always did. Daniel and I got married young. We didn't have much money, but we had each other, and I thought that was enough. Still, like many young couples, we had struggles, bills piling up, disagreements about the future, moments of doubt. And every time, I ran to Grandma. Every fight, every tear, I poured my heart out to her. She always listened. She always comforted me. Or so I thought. At first, it felt harmless. She'd give me advice. Men need respect more than words, or don't nag him too much, dear. He'll come around. And Daniel, he loved Grandma too. He visit her, fix things around her house, laugh at her jokes. She had this way of making him feel like part of the family. It seemed perfect. But perfect things sometimes hide cracks no one wants to see. One night, after Daniel and I had a heated argument about money, I went to bed angry. He slept on the couch. The silence between us was so thick, it felt like I couldn't breathe. The next morning, when I went to Grandma's house to cry, she said something strange. "Sweetheart," she whispered, "marriage is a heavy load. If you ever feel like it's too much, you don't have to stay. You can always choose another path." I stared at her. "What do you mean?" She smiled faintly, but her eyes were cold. "Just remember, no man is worth losing yourself for." It sounded like advice, but looking back, it was a warning. Months passed. Slowly, something began to change. Daniel grew distant. He'd come home late, avoid eye contact, retreat into silence. When I asked him what was wrong, he'd shake his head and say, "Nothing." But it wasn't nothing. It never is. Then one evening, when Daniel was in the shower, his phone lit up on the counter. A message. From Grandma. My heart stopped. It wasn't just a casual message. It was intimate. Words no grandmother should send to her granddaughter's husband. "Don't let her see your weakness. You deserve better than her doubts." I froze. My hands shook as I read more. Dozens of messages. Conversations I never knew about. Private talks. Shared secrets. Words that cut me open. She had been telling him things about me. Things I had confessed in tears, in trust. "She's insecure. She'll hold you back. You're too good for her." My grandmother, my own blood, the woman who raised me, was poisoning my marriage. I felt sick. My chest tightened. I wanted to scream, but my voice wouldn't come out. When Daniel came out of the shower, towel around his waist, I asked him, my voice trembling, "Why are you talking to my grandmother behind my back?" His face turned pale. He stuttered, trying to explain. She listens," he said. "She understands me." Those words broke me more than anything. Because the one person who was supposed to be my safe place had become his. But it didn't end there. The more I dug, the worse it got. I found letters she had written him. Notes slipped into his jacket pocket when I wasn't looking. Whispers exchanged in the kitchen when I pretended not to notice. It was betrayal on two fronts. Not an affair, no, it wasn't physical, but it was worse in a way. It was emotional. It was trust twisted. I confronted Grandma. Why? I cried, tears streaming down my face. Why would you do this to me? Her lips curled into a smile I had never seen before, sharp, almost cruel. Because, sweetheart, she said, you don't know how to keep a man. I was saving your marriage in my own way. My knees buckled. Her words pierced me like knives. This wasn't the woman who raised me. This was someone else. Someone darker. The weeks that followed were chaos. Daniel swore he hadn't cheated, that it was just talk, that Grandma manipulated him. He begged for forgiveness. But the damage was done. Every time I looked at him, I saw her words echoing between us. Every time I looked at her, I saw a stranger. Family dinners turned into battlegrounds. My aunts and uncles took sides. Some said I was ungrateful, that Grandma had only ever wanted the best for me. Others whispered that maybe she had always been jealous of me. The house that once felt like home now felt like a war zone. Then came the twist I never expected. One afternoon, I received a letter in the mail. No return address. Inside was a diary page. Old, yellowed, shaky handwriting. It was Grandma's. And on that page, she confessed something. Years ago, she had lost her own husband to another woman. Her marriage had crumbled because she wasn't enough. She wrote, I couldn't save my marriage, so I will save hers, even if she hates me for it. My heart stopped. She wasn't trying to take Daniel from me. She was trying to rewrite her own story, through mine. But in doing so, she had destroyed the very thing she thought she was saving. That night, I sat across from Daniel at the dinner table. I looked into his eyes, searching for something: love, regret, hope. And I said, we can't let her pain decide our future. We either fight for this marriage together or we end it here. His eyes filled with tears. I want to fight. So we did. We cut off Grandma. We stopped running to her for advice. We built walls she couldn't climb. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done, turning away from the woman who raised me. But sometimes, love means choosing who you protect. And this time, I had to protect myself. It's been years since then. Daniel and I are stronger now. Not perfect, but stronger. We learned that marriage isn't about letting others in. It's about holding each other, even when it hurts. But the wound my grandmother left still lingers. Every now and then, I hear her voice in my head. Every now and then, I wonder if I'll ever fully forgive her. I don't know if I can. Because I trusted my grandmother with my marriage. And what she did still haunts me.